Hello and welcome to Sin and Steel, the heavy metal podcast. I'm your host, Serotonin, and we're talking with Sid from Adelaide blackened tech death band, Ecdysis. Thanks for joining me, Sid.
All good. Great to have me on here. It's awesome. I'm excited.
Now, firstly, and I know it's a little bit more complex than this, but the term ecdysis is kind of like the shedding of the skin or the exoskeleton. And I feel like that's a really rad name for a metal band of its own right. But I'm curious to know if there's anything more behind the name because it feels very philosophical.
No, not really. I mean, when I was kind of thinking of an idea for this project, I was like, I'm shedding my skin sort of thing. This was the new path that I was taking. So, yep. And then I just read it somewhere and I was like, yeah, that's cool. And yeah, exactly. It's pretty metal. So I couldn't think of it. Yeah. I enjoy it. I thought it was pretty cool.
Nice. And so you guys have only been kicking for a couple of years now. You formed in 2022. What's your origin story? What's the origin story of the band?
I started writing the music back in late 2020. I recently left a band that I was in just from, differences from, the style that we kind of wanted. So after leaving that, I was kind of just sitting there being like, every other band that I had been in prior, I kind of had joined and never really got to write sort of thing. So I was like, no, I just want to start writing music that I've always wanted to do. So I started chipping away at that, just kind of thinking more of an instrumental solo project, really. And then after a while, I was kind of like, nah, maybe I'm keen to do the band thing again. And the drummer, Tom, I've been mates with him since high school, and he's a hard-hitting solid drummer. And I just messaged him, and he recently had just left a band that he was in, and I didn't kind of wait. I was kind of like, hey man, check this music out, and he was like, yeah man, I'm keen. So
awesome.
Had him in, and then we had a vocalist lined up ready, and it was really weird because she was getting vocal lessons from the school that I teach at, and they were going through a lesson, and they're like, oh, if you've got lyrics, send them through, sort of thing. So I sent them the lyrics, and they're like, oh, can you just tap out a pattern on the demos of how the vocal patterns were going to be? And I was like, yeah, sure. I did that, and it sounded like crap. I was like, oh god, this makes no sense at all. So I bought a recording mic and just did some demos on that, and they both suggested that I do vocals in the band, and I was kind of like, I just want to play guitar. I don't want to have two duties, but thought about it. I was like, I'll give it a whirl. So I was stuck doing vocals, which still thinking about, should I be doing that? And then
it worked out well.
But it did. It was it was kind of a weird journey where I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. So kind of went with my gut. And then with the other Tom, bass player, he was another mate of mine who he plays guitar in a punk band, and it was so weird. I was like, you should play bass in my new band. And he was like, I don't play bass. And I was like, you should play bass in my new band. And then he was like, as soon as he said yes, he had to go buy a bass. So so within that point, that would have been, I reckon it was late 2021, I reckon early 22. And then, just started doing it, really. Started doing gigging and releasing tunes. And we're here right now.
Yeah, awesome. And I mean, you've been doing plenty of gigs since then. I did see you've done some really cool Aussie metal festivals as well. There was the Southern Death Festival and Metal United Down Under. What have all those shows been like for you so far?
Oh, fantastic. Loved every moment of it. It's always cool I like playing festivals probably more than small gigs, because there's just so many other bands you can kind of check out, and it's like a full day event rather than, rolling up at 6 p.m. and, having a late night. Whereas, a full day festival, it's a fun thing. You can hang out, have drinks, and, hang out with your mates. And I love every moment of festivals. It's a good one.
I love that. And I mean, some of those festivals had some really killer lineups. Were there any particular bands that you were really keen to play alongside or work with the most?
Oh shit. Man, that's a hard one. I don't know.
They're all my friends.
They're all my friends. They're all watching right now. They're gonna judge me. Uh, uh no, not that I can kind of like really
Yep.
think of festival wise. Yeah, I know they're all pretty fantastic.
Yep.
Just going with it and discovering new bands. Obviously, like
Yeah.
a band actually that I really enjoyed watching actually for a second time. First time I saw them was on the Behemoth tour that went recently. Was a month from Melbourne.
Yep.
So they,
Yep.
yeah, oh man, that one of my favorite bands at the moment. They fucking rule. They
Fuck
slap.
yeah.
Love them. Love them. They're fucking killer. Love that band.
Awesome. And for gigging in general, do you have a favorite venue?
I really enjoyed the back room in Brisbane. Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, that was really cool. Not what I was expecting. And
Yep.
yeah, I got there and I was like, yeah, this is like it was hot as all fuck, but yeah, it was awesome.
Yep.
And then the Bendigo in Melbourne was pretty
Yes.
sick. I'm kind of
Which,
glad that that's back on board now. I was like, yes,
yeah.
very
I'm so
good, very good.
stoked. I haven't gone to check it out yet. I know they're doing a bunch of renos and setting stuff up, but yeah, I'm so pumped. It looks like I saw they got their old security guard, Steve, back. So they're trying to keep the essence of the Bendy alive.
That's
I'm just
great.
really hoping that if they're going to change or upgrade anything, I just want them to put in some proper aircon and some fans.
Oh, of course, of course.
Because fuck,
Very
it got
ideal
hot in
for a
there.
hot venue. Oh
Oh,
yeah, oh
yeah.
yeah,
But no,
yeah.
that's, yeah, iconic venue. Um,
Absolutely brilliant.
I did also see that you guys were on the original posters for the the Metal to the Max festival, but you aren't on the new ones. Did you guys have to pull out?
Yeah. So we pulled out because I got a wedding on, and that's kind of a
Yep,
prior thing to kind of
yep,
do. But then it was really weird because on this I had to talk to my mates about this for the wedding because
yep.
we got offered another gig, and it was at the night, and I was like, oh, can I kind of like I'll do the wedding. I'll rock up. I'll do all the important shit. Watch you sign the paperwork and all
Hmm.
that. But kind of like
Yep,
play this gig. And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I'm like, oh, wicked. So I was
yep.
kind of like, oh, I feel bad because I was really keen for that metal to the max.
Yeah,
And
I'm heading up for it, and yeah, so it's a shame that you're not going to be there because I'd love to catch you
I
guys, but
know, I
maybe another
know.
time.
I hope so. I hope so. Like Ash, she's done such a fantastic job, and
Yep,
the guys in Firestorm. Shout out to those guys. They're very hard workers and definitely
yep,
one of the hardest working bands in Australia at the moment. So
yep.
shout out to those homies. Hell yeah.
Now, in terms of music, so you released the EP Hex in 2023, which is fantastic.
No,
I particularly enjoyed the track The Offering. I thought that like the tech aspects of that were really strong. And the film clip to that is awesome. I'd love to know where you guys filmed it and who you had involved in that, because like the backdrop's good, the composition was really cool. Loved it.
Oh, thank you. We filmed that in my backyard that I'm like where I'm renting. There's a barn that we got
Oh my
there, and
God.
I had to ask the landlord. I was like, "Do you mind if I shoot a music video like in the barn?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, absolutely." Like it's just this country guy. He's like, "Yeah, fuck oath." And like so we filmed it there. We
Mm,
kind of had a handful of mates involved. We had Sean from 36 Imagery.
yep,
I think that was his second music video he ever shot. He
yep.
normally does like photography, and
He did an
he was
awesome
down
job.
for it. Oh, he did great. He did
Yeah.
fantastic. He did. Yeah, just hats off to you, Sean. Legend. Yeah, we had a couple of mates just for designing the whole concept, I guess. Like, what are we
Yep.
like? Satanic or whatever and all that sort of stuff. So yeah,
Yep.
it was really fun. And then like when it was released, I remember my landlord. He goes down to the pub and he's showing everybody. He's like, "Oh, this was filmed on my property." And I was like, "All right, yeah."
And
Like,
when he
good
looks
for
for new
you, man.
tenants, that's going to be his selling point.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
This was in a music
Exactly.
video.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
uh,
awesome, though. Imagine having that in your backyard. Being from Adelaide, I thought, oh, is that like an old church or something? But no, that's
uh,
perfect.
Yeah, I mean, we were originally looking for like a church. You know, we definitely looked around. We couldn't really find anything. And then I remember
Yeah,
just I was outside just having a smoke and just looking. I was like, "There's a fucking barn right there." And it's just
yeah,
like it just moved all the stuff into one side of the room and just like, all right, perfect. But like, I remember doing it and it was like it's not like the most stable. Like the floor is kind of like caving in and stuff. So I remember like when the drummer was like doing his stuff, I'm sitting there like,
yeah.
please don't break the floor. Please don't break the floor.
Oh no. Shit.
uh,
No,
yeah,
that's
but
great.
it all went well. Nothing bad happened. So it was all,
Yep.
yeah, very smooth day.
And so you've recently released the single Six Feet of Sodomy, which also features some guest vocals from Ryan Dennis of Exhuminator, another Adelaide band. Um,
Yeah.
I saw for these two that you recorded a little bit of a studio diary. That was really cool. Like I feel like we only ever see those from, big bands doing docos, and I wish more local bands did that because it's such an interesting behind the scenes process. Did you have fun doing that? And I guess, what was the recording process for that single like in comparison to your EP?
It was a fun experience. I was concerned about what was going to end up on camera. So like, but you got all the good
Like
stuff.
the jism
Oh yeah, the
discussion.
best.
That cracked me up.
Of course. That was great. That was fantastic.
Went into Golem too early. Keep it is the only syllable that needs to be Golemized. Yeah, I need you to open it up. Open up that pit like a hole. Do you know that in the first EP where you went, I embrace death, so watch me burn?
Oh, okay.
You know how you kind of open it up like
Yeah.
jizz, like. I can't, man, dude. I just kept saying jism with you, and he's fucking filming it, man. It's like
it's going in the documentary.
these two guys are just singing jism.
Give me the jism counter.
Yeah.
It was very fun. Sean yet again, with his camera work, went and did that. For the single itself, it took a while. It really did because we were meant to go in. I think we had like a 3-track thing kind of laid out, and then we kind of really just started focusing really hard on that because it was just kind of better than everything else that we really had. And I was like, all right, like let's focus hard on it. So it probably took, I reckon, 9 months. It took a while, but it was a good 9 months, and only because Jack, our producer, he works around the clock, so he's got to keep the money flowing. So if we couldn't get in, he had obviously got to pay rent, so he's got to have more people come in. So it wasn't like 9 months in general on one track, but the times that we had to get in, it was like, we definitely took our time with it. So, but yeah, look, a lot of love out of all of that went into it and came out phenomenal. So I'm happy.
I think the artwork was really rad too, and it looked like that was more local love. It was Cam Smith of Putrescent Seepage. I really love that you're kind of collaborating with so many of your local people and people within your community. Is that deliberate or just because you've got so many rad people around?
I'm deliberate with that sort of stuff. Cam is, as much as he's a powerhouse, blaster, like absolute phenomenal drummer, his artwork is insane. Like, and he's getting a lot of love from international and all that. But I just remember he posted something on his Instagram and I was just like, that's the guy. Like Cam, like, I sent him the lyrics and he was like, okay, I can do this. Like, sure. Just make sure there's a dick in his mouth. And he's like, sure, man. But phenomenal. He's a great dude, and but I'm always about the local love. I feel that it makes a strong music community about just keeping it local, and not that there's nothing wrong with branching out over time, but Adelaide's is a nice place, and there's a lot of love, and support the little peeps that want to make it.
No, that's
It's all a team effort.
fantastic. Yeah, yeah. So I guess with that release of the single, I guess what else would you like to share about that? And of course, there's the question, are there plans for a new EP or album? What can we expect next from Ecdysis?
We're already back in the studio, so I've
Yep.
written over that time. I've definitely written more music. So we've got another. I guess it's an EP kind of coming out. We not going to put a date on it yet because obviously we want to take more time on it. You know,
Yep.
definitely polish it up. But yeah, I'm hoping it'll be out next year, surely. You know,
Awesome.
at some point. But it's definitely more on the melodic. I guess from what we've taken from the EP, it's that mix with 6 Feet for sure. Like it's like, okay, go that melodic death metal sort of element,
Cool.
big choruses and all that sort of stuff, you know, stupid riffs, the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff that we love in metal, of course. Last beat, that sort of stuff. So
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Now, I guess, are there any upcoming gigs that you'd like to promote, such as like you've got the I'm Not a Burden Festival coming up next year? Any that you'd like to share with everyone?
we've got, I think it's like in 3 weeks' time, we've got Halloween, which is like our mates in Halore. They're doing like I think they're filming a music video, like a Halloween event. So
Awesome.
it's going to be lots of spooky themes and all that. I think it's all vampire themed, 90s goth sort of rave stuff. But yeah, that's our next gig. We've got another one also lined up in October, but we can't announce it yet because they're kind of doing a bit of a shuffle. But I'm pretty chuffed that we got asked to play it. So keep an eye out for that. So I can give you a little clue, they just dropped an album. So if you guys are in, keep an eye out on that.
Okay. There's a lot of new albums out.
Yeah, I know. That did not help at all. But like they dropped a new album and it's sick, and I'm very happy because
Australian or international?
Oh, Australian.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. I think I could guess. Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I think I do.
Yeah. I'm sure you do. Yeah, that's it. That's really it. We're kind of it's gonna be pretty quiet. I think that's probably gonna be our last gig of the year unless something kind of pops up. But yeah, not until January for I'm Not a Burden, which will be fantastic. I'm really stoked for that.
Yep.
Shout out to I Enjoy for putting, all the love and hard work into all the events that they're putting on. Michael and Lachlan, good dudes.
Fuck yeah. And most importantly, before we finish up, where can people find you and how can they show their support?
Do you want my home address? No, I'm kidding.
No one's going to Adelaide.
Yeah, fuck that. I live in the middle of fucking nowhere, so it's all good. They'll never find me.
You've got a barn in your yard. You've got to be...
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Bandcamp. So yeah, if you just look up Ecdysis, I'm sure you're going to find us, YouTube, all that sort of, all the basic stuff to have under your belt as a band these days,
Yep. Of course. And as always for viewers, I will include the links in the description of the episode and tag the band in the posts on social media so that you can jump straight across, give them a follow, give them a listen, and wait with anticipation for the new EP. But yeah, thanks again for joining me, Sid. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a bowler of a morning. So, hell yeah.
And sinners, thanks for tuning in for this one. Until next time, stay metal.
Oh.